Really?
Yes, it's running.
Welcome to Ingram Dunes. And Kitty, I know you came here once before, but I'm really happy to be here with you.
I'm glad to be back. It's been, like I said a little while back, tomorrow will be a month,
1 month
since I've been walking in here.
Absolutely.
And apparently a lot has changed and gone on since then.
A lot has changed, but of course the dunes themselves never change.
That's right.
But there's been some major developments with the folks who are trying to develop it, and the city has offered to buy it. That happened since you were here. And they're negotiating with the owners.
Okay.
And so that's all very good stuff.
That is good.
And then we'll see some other stuff that's more challenging.
Yes.
Let's go in and...
Let's go. So I noticed too there are several entrances, a couple of entrances at least, off of Hillside Drive.
That's correct. Yeah, there's like 3 entrances there. This is the main entrance.
Okay.
And there's other ones to our south, to our right. This is the only real sandy area in the dunes. Everything else is covered with maritime forest. And that's kind of a cool sign there.
Yes, that helps to get across the idea that we are trying to preserve these dunes so that they will be able to be used by people for recreation and relaxation for years and generations to come.
Yeah, generations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny you speak of generations because basically people have lived around here for 70 years, and the kids particularly have been playing in these dunes for those 70 years. And so even some of our city councilors played here as kids. And now other people have brought their kids, their grandkids to play in these dunes.
Now, are these city councilors who played in them as kids, are they aware of the effort to save them and also with what is going on with them?
Oh yeah, we've been talking with them for about 1.5 years and going to planning meetings and city council meetings. This is the, since it's the only sandy area, I wanted to show you something the geologists showed me.
Okay.
This is extremely fine sand.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at each particle is like a micro particle.
Oh wow.
Micro particle, which shows.
It almost looks like glass glistening in your hand.
Yeah,
there.
and the geologists, the state geologists, have said that it's that fine because it's so old. It's millions of years old. This
and
sand.
How old are these particular dunes?
These dunes are, the geologists say that they are from 12 to 80,000 years ago they were formed.
Wow.
Yeah, so that what it was is there was a time when the ocean was very high.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was around 100,000 years ago. And so as the ocean began to gradually recede and the polar ice caps, got stronger,
right,
then the ocean receded, and that was about 80,000 years, and that's when these were started to be formed.
Okay.
But the youngest they could possibly be are 12,000 years old.
So this used to be basically back before the ice caps formed where the beach was.
Yeah, this was water going in about almost 100 miles inland.
Okay, so
coast.
The beach basically went up to the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains.
Not that far.
Not that far?
To the Piedmont.
Okay.
To 95 is about the limit. So
okay.
And then, but then that gradually, as the ocean receded, call. I probably won't take this call.
That's okay.
Hello, Damien. Yes. Hey, Jeff. I know I heard. I gotta delete some stuff. But I gotta return the calls before I delete them. So sorry about that.
Dragonfly. I'm poking myself in the leg with a thorny stick. Going downhill now. As you can see, there is some height to these dunes.
All right, man. See you then. Wow, good thing I got that because my mailbox has been filled and nobody's able to get me.
I've had that happen before.
And I can't delete things because I've got to return the calls before I delete them. I guess I could make copious notes. Okay, let's go back. So we were talking about 80,000 years ago. They were formed.
Right, and we were talking about how far inland the water was.
So let's just can you film again?
I've been filming. I went walking around a little bit.
You're not filming right now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, look, this is the highest part of the sandy dune where you just walked up. And I like just to look
right in here.
Do a panoramic. You might have already done that of this beautiful, incredibly beautiful area.
So this is the high spot of the dune.
This is
here.
This is the second highest spot.
Second highest spot. Okay. How high is the highest spot?
Highest spot is 50 feet. This is 45 feet above sea level right now.
Okay.
I noticed your GoPro's tilted back slightly. Do you want it more forward?
I didn't realize it was tilted back slightly. Let's tilt it forward a little more.
Yeah, that's
is that
more,
better?
That's more perpendicular to the earth. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
All right. Well, I don't go down that way because we do erode the sand, but let's go.
Okay.
Let's go see Eagle's Nest.
Okay.
And I know you were at Eagle's Nest before, but it's such a beautiful place that we'll go see it again. And it was named Eagle's Nest by a couple of our city councilors when they were kids.
Okay.
Terry White and Hank Thomas. And they used to all play in here. So you go first. Gotta duck your head under the beautiful live oaks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is called Eagle's Nest because it's not, the eagles don't nest here, but it looks like a big nest with
the way it's built around It's almost like a home.
Exactly. It sort of surrounds you when you're in here.
Mm-hmm. These would make good climbing trees.
I tell you, the kids, you get a kid in here and they immediately start climbing them.
Mm-hmm.
And kids have made forts in here. We've sometimes seen little things nailed up to the trees or they made a fort.
Ha!
But you look at over here, so it's a beautiful ridge we're on now. But then this is disturbing. This just happened yesterday, Friday.
Okay, what is going on with this?
Well, this is
because
marked.
the developers backed out not too long ago.
So it's owned by the Ingram family.
Mm-hmm.
They had a developer, R.S. Parker, who backed out. But the Ingram family is still pushing ahead. They have plans to build 31 houses on these dunes. And if they did that, then
we would have no more eagle's nest or anything.
They would cut every tree and then they would bulldoze it flat so they could put the houses in here.
And this is the last relic sand dune on the South Carolina coast, right?
Well, I don't say that, no.
Or in the North Myrtle Beach area,
it's definitely
at least,
the last
right?
in the North Myrtle Beach area, and it's one of the oldest, and it's, according to the geologists, it's the highest relic sand dune on the whole coast of South Carolina.
Okay.
Which is hard to believe.
That is hard to believe.
I asked them several times, and it happens to be right smack in the middle of North Myrtle Beach.
And how much land do the dunes take up?
Well, the dunes, the part that's endangered is about 9.5 acres.
Okay.
And then there's another 3 acres that are adjacent that aren't in danger right now, but they could be easily.
Mm-hmm.
And then right next to the dunes is this beautiful, about 20 acres of wetlands.
Oh, wow.
And some of that is owned and preserved by the city because it drains stormwater and all that. And so because they're so close together, the animals can come and go. So it's valuable to have them very close together.
And that's another important thing too, is that this area is habitat for a lot of animals in the North Myrtle Beach area, and this is the last habitat that they have that is really sizable within North Myrtle Beach.
That's correct. Yeah, it's definitely the largest, and it's one of the only ones left in North Myrtle Beach. You get into the county, there's some wilder areas out there, but within North Myrtle, this is the only thing left, and certainly the largest. And so these markings are, the DDC is the engineering company hired by the owners, and they just Friday, the 11th of May, came and marked these, and what was disturbing is they painted on these beautiful trees.
I see that.
And
you have a pink band, a white band, and then also a pink strip of paint up above both of those.
That's correct.
And that is on every tree that is marked.
Right, and it seems to be the biggest trees. I thought it was just, right now they may have ability, right to cut in the right-of-ways. They're proposing 3 roads in here, and they may have the right to cut in the right-of-ways, but these are out of the right-of-way, so I'm not sure. We have a call into the planning and zoning department to find out what's going on with this, but it's at a very delicate place right now, and the
because everything up until yesterday was going well. We had almost kind of switched into a mode where we were raising money to purchase the dunes to preserve them.
That's correct. I would say not everything. The whole thing is we've been doing this for 1.5 years, since October 2016, when we first got a notice to try to rezone this for more dense housing, and that got denied. But so the whole journey has been like the dunes. It
Up
goes
and
up
down.
and then it goes down, but it doesn't just go like this. It goes up and then way down. And then, so right now,
more like a jagged mountain range than a
I think about
gentle dune.
3 weeks ago, the city voted to work to try to preserve the dunes, to buy them, because they're privately owned, so they have to be bought.
Right.
So the city agreed to that, and then they also agreed to accept donations from the public.
Okay.
And so that's both of those things are extremely good.
And how can the public donate if they're interested?
Okay, well, the public can donate really two main ways. One is they can give a check to the city and just put 4 Ingram Dunes on the check, and that is tax deductible.
Okay.
And that's sort of for the larger donations, but we're also asking people to go to our Facebook or website and we have a GoFundMe link for Ingram Dunes, and
what is the website address that you'll have?
Well, it's ingramdunes.org.
Okay.
Very simple. ingramdunes.org, and Facebook is just Ingram Dunes. And so you go to the GoFundMe, and even if you're throwing in like $25 or $50, it's right now it's not tax deductible. It may be, but we were trying to show broad support. That's why it's really important to have that. So
that's good, because the more donations we can get, obviously the closer we are to being able to purchase the dunes.
Exactly. And
do what we want.
Yeah.
Do we have a timeline that we need to meet?
It's basically things are happening very, very fast. So the 23rd is one timeline, and that's the negotiations between the city and the owners. And that's one timeline. There's also a DHEC hearing, which is the state of South Carolina. That's on the 6th of June. Very important. And you can put comments in. If you can't be there, you can put comments. But the DHEC hearing is the 6th of June, and that will be held at City Hall. And then before that, a week from right now, we have the Gala to Preserve the Dunes.
And that is Saturday, May 19th.
That's correct, Saturday, May 19th, and it's going to be at the North Myrtle Beach Historical Library, which is up near where you work on 2nd Avenue. And we're asking people to come, and you can buy a ticket you go to our website, you can buy a ticket for $50 as a contribution, and we're going to have fantastic food, and we're going to have some good entertainment, and we're going to have a great dance party too.
Awesome. Yeah. I wish I could be there. Unfortunately, I'm going to be in Columbia that night.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'll be calling a dance there. Yeah.
I love that you call, man. That's so awesome. And I was telling people you play mandolin, but it's not.
No, it's the lap dulcimer, mountain dulcimer.
Mountain dulcimer. Wow. And you put it right on your lap. Wow. No, that's too bad. That would be great to have you there.
Actually, that would be good sometime to come out here and set up and just play in the woods.
Totally.
Have some kind of a little concert or something, and accept donations and just.
And sometime we're hoping maybe some of the Native Americans will come and maybe bless this place.
That would be nice.
But it's already blessed. I feel like this is a place of God. But let's go on and see a few more places.
Let's do it.
And as we walk, we'll just sort of feel the spirit of the dunes. That's why we're doing this all. We're not doing it to protest anything. We're just doing it because we love the dunes.
And these dunes really need to stay the way they are.
Yes.
So that people who are around now don't just have to tell stories about dunes that used to be there and what they used to do there. They can actually take their kids and their grandkids into these same dunes so that they can have the same experiences.
Exactly. I mean, the only way you really know what the dunes are is to walk in them.
Right.
Like we're doing right now.
Like before April 13th, I had been just living in the dunes vicariously through you for over a year. And I knew they existed, but I had no idea what they were like. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, save the dunes.
Yeah.
But then I walked in here and I was like, wow, this actually is somewhere really special in the heart of North Myrtle Beach, and it needs to stay special.
Exactly. And you really don't know it till you're actually in them, because from the outside they look like a bunch of woods.
Exactly.
It's nice, but most of the land around here is so flat.
I have driven past them hundreds of times, and I never knew, you know, I saw the woods alongside the road, but I never knew that this existed within those woods.
That's right. That's right. You never would know. Even if you look in, you can't really see.
No, you have to go for a walk to be able to experience the full feel of what this place has to offer.
Yeah, and unfortunately you can see a lot of the markings. There must be 30 markings all over the place.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few.
But still, the beauty of the dunes is bigger than the markings.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of an interesting spot because you can walk up there.
It's like we're going over a ridge
yeah,
here.
This is like some of the dunes are in a ridge.
Oh, wow.
So this is like a canyon.
This feels kind of like last month I took a trip to the Smoky Mountains, and this feels kind of like one of those areas right in there.
Yeah, and you can see how it's hard to get it on the film even, but it drops off very.
Yeah, there's probably a 30-foot drop right
within
here.
20 feet, maybe not that much, but like
20 feet
20
at
feet,
least.
There's about a 20-foot drop in 20
Yeah.
feet. That's extremely steep. It's like a 45-degree angle.
It almost looks like there should be, if we were anywhere else, there would be a stream coming right down through there.
And what happened was the dunes were formed, and then in between the dunes, there are these like channels where the wind would go whip through.
Mm-hmm. And it would move away sand.
Yeah, and then so some of them built up, and some of them became like a canyon.
Mm-hmm.
So I love this area for that reason.
It's beautiful. This looks like an area that you would expect to see more in western North Carolina or eastern Tennessee than somewhere that you would find on the east coast of South Carolina.
Yeah, basically for the next almost 100 miles in, it's pretty flat as a pancake.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why these are so unusual. And
it reminds me, have you ever been to Jockey's Ridge up in North Carolina on the Outer Banks?
I haven't, but I've heard about it and researched it. Those are even much higher.
As far as I can remember, I haven't been there since the 90s, but I think they're the highest dunes on the East Coast.
They could easily be. I heard they're like, 800 feet high or maybe even higher. I don't know.
But
they're amazingly high.
This place reminds me a lot of that, except the main difference is they are totally out in the open with only a very little area of woodland growth on them.
That's right.
It's a sand dune. This is the same thing, but it has been in place long enough so that an entire forest could grow over it.
That's right. It's quite old, and we're not sure why it was formed here, but it's sort of there's a big arc, and they call it Long Bay, that goes from Georgetown to Southport.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of in the middle of that arc.
And because of that arc, a lot of people don't realize this, but our beach also faces more toward the south here than toward the east.
That's right. And then you get up in Brunswick County, and it's completely south.
Mm-hmm. Now, do we know how or if these dunes have been impacted by hurricanes in the past?
They certainly have, but...
Because I'm sure they protect a lot of the people and plants and animals from storm surges that come in.
Yeah, they definitely do. And, like, for example, during Matthew, only one neighbor lost a couple of pieces of siding because the dunes are so high.
And that's not bad, because Matthew, surprisingly for a Category 1 hurricane, put up a pretty good fight here.
It chumped away at the, it hit more like high tide, and took a chunk of the dune, the ocean dunes,
Right.
and then it was the backside of Matthew that nailed everybody.
It was extremely windy, surprisingly strong for the backside of a hurricane.
And it was gusting. It would go from like 40 to 80 in a second.
Yeah, for almost 8 hours.
Yeah. So this is a.
Oh wow.
These are like 2 or 3 beautiful cedars. Unfortunately, the one on the right got nailed by. Let's walk up there though. It got nailed by the ice storms we had about 3 years ago.
Okay.
It's a very beautiful sculpture now.
The storms the 2 ice storms that we had back in 2014.
Yeah, it was 14 and 15.
Yeah, 15 we had a couple of bad ice storms as well.
Unfortunately broke it down.
It's still beautiful. I love the way that
it's a beautiful sculpture.
And somebody carves their name into it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Some kid probably,
Oh yeah.
And then unfortunately these are marked. These are beautiful.
And these are nice big old trees too that are marked for demolition here.
Yep. These are 2 beautiful cedars. So we're going to go back down a little bit.
Okay.
And then we're going to go up again.
As is typically the way when we are hiking. Now, do you still have these shirts like you're wearing? The Preserve Ingram Dunes shirts?
Like this shirt here?
Like that shirt right there.
We have a few left. We've sold pretty much all of them.
Mm-hmm. Because I remember when you were making them. Okay, yeah.
There's not a lot, but there's a little bit. Yeah. Oh, you remember when I was making them? Yeah.
I do remember when you were making them. When it was right after you started making the brochures.
That's right. That's correct. Because we use the same logo.
Mm-hmm.
Our brand. It seems like it's been a very. Actually, the logo came from the T-shirts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we then miniaturized it for the brochures that you helped us make. And we designed, and your whole team helped us on those.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're coming up to the very highest.
I was about to say we're going way up here.
Left on the coast of South Carolina, and it's going to drop off toward Hillside.
Yeah, I can see the road way down there.
Yep.
So we're about 50 feet up right now.
Yep, we're about 50 feet above sea level and about
right there's the high spot
above the hillside.
Okay.
And it drops because the leeward side, the sand blows in from the ocean.
Right, and it builds up and then it just boom drops.
And it just drops by gravity, so that's why it's very, very steep on the leeward side.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to walk up here. This is like the actual highest point right here.
Wow, 3, 4 trees marked for demolition right here at the highest point.
I know, it's sad. Now, it's sad for the danger to the dunes. It's also sad to see these beautiful dunes, these beautiful trees marked by red paint.
It's very much a form of vandalism.
Well, I guess
almost.
You could use that word.
I mean, it's for what they consider to be progress.
Right.
But when you're trying to preserve a part of nature, it's really a form of vandalism.
Well, I can see how you could look at that way. We're trying to work. We've always trying to been very cooperative with the owners and with the city, because we feel like it's sort of like the citizens, the owners, the city. We all have to work together to make sure these are preserved. And and we, even with this difficult thing to see, we still want to keep that in our heart to work together and find. The idea now is to find a way.
To find a way so that everybody can cooperate and come to the conclusion that needs to be come to.
Exactly. And basically preserve
it.
Because these are, it's just, there's nothing like this in the state of South Carolina.
No.
And it's so beautiful, and guess that's the thing that I feel very, if you're here for a few minutes and you're quiet enough, you very quickly feel a certain sacredness here that is much bigger than us. And I think that's what really makes...
And I've felt that both times that I've been here.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what it's like this is like our child that's in danger of dying. And so that's why we feel this strongly about it, because we love this place. And we can feel that sacredness here. My sister, I said we want to make sure it's a nature preserve, and she said, well, it's really more like a nature sanctuary.
It is. I like that terminology for it.
I know. I was really touched when she said that. And it's probably the closest to the truth, really.
It really is. I like that terminology.
Well, let's go on and let's go see Grandfather.
Okay.
So you have not been here before, right?
I have not been in this location before, no.
I think we need to give the photographer a drink.
I think so too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, that's the real thing.
Yeah. Oh, you thought it was fake?
No, I thought it's not that diet stuff.
No.
Oh.
No.
So now
Oh, the real stuff isn't real healthy, but the diet stuff is supposedly worse.
Yeah. So this tree straight ahead we call it Grandfather. And
this twisted one right out through
here? The
here?
twisted one sort of a little bit in the distance. And that's the biggest and oldest tree here.
Wow. Do we have any estimate on how old it might be?
All I know is a neighbor of mine cut a tree that was about, 10 inches. And it was 90 years old, because the live oaks are very slow growers.
Right.
And it may change, as they get bigger, but this is, it's like 2.5 feet.
I can see that. It looks very densely grown in there too. Is there a way to get back to him?
We're gonna...
And it looks like he's one of the ones that's marked.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was kind of disturbing. But we're going to go around the front. I love this. I love how the trail goes right around it. There's a lot of beautiful plants in here. These are like bay plants. So we're going to go this way here. Why don't you just lead the way, just sort of go up there and then bear to the left a little bit. And there's definitely vines to trip you.
Oh yes. There's a reason I wore these shoes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow. And he's a good climbing tree too.
Yeah.
A real good climbing tree.
Yeah, if you look up, you can see how, of course, the branches they're looking for the light.
Oh yeah. He is beautiful.
Yeah, you can see how incredibly thick it is.
Mm-hmm.
My hand.
He's probably at least, I'd say, a couple hundred years old.
Yes.
Wouldn't you believe so?
Yeah, I would say definitely. I would say it could be 300.
Okay. Because he splits off in at least 4 different directions once he gets above this point.
Yeah.
And he goes way up there too. He's probably 50 feet tall.
Yeah, and of course, these are not live oaks like you have at Brook Green Gardens because they're not out in the sun.
Right.
So they got to find their way.
Mm-hmm.
And but the pines, of course, usually come in first, and then the live oaks come in later.
Pretty incredible the way that life finds its way here and then takes over in such a spectacular way.
That's right. It's amazing.
I'm going to go up a little bit.
Yeah.
Not too far.
Yeah, you
But-
gotta watch, don't wedge your foot in there.
No, that'll get me
It's
stuck.
pretty easy climbing tree.
Oh yeah, this is great. I'm taller than you
You
now.
are very taller than me. You're about 12 feet tall right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like right at your feet.
Right. And this is a great view from up here too.
You know, I've never been up there. I'll have to do that.
Yes, definitely. I'm not going to go up any higher right now
Yeah, but you can see how kids...
because I don't want to film my death. But you'll have to post it then. But
But it's pretty... You can imagine kids here. The kids go wild because they just scramble up these trees.
oh yeah,
Like monkeys.
you could go a pretty good distance up them too.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're almost, the branches go out like walkways.
Yeah. And that's the amazing thing about live oaks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can go out like 60 feet horizontal.
Mhm.
So strong.
We have to save this thing.
Gotta save it. This and the whole thing we have to save.
Because I can say I do not want to be the last person to stand up here.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and the idea is to have this be a nature preserve, a nature sanctuary, but, you know, have it be gently used.
Right.
Kids climbing on it and stuff like that.
The trails that we already have
Yeah,
through it.
There's plenty of trails here, and I hope we can leave then some wild areas that are not, we don't have to put trails through everything.
Right.
Let the, you know, so the animals have some
Mm-hmm.
quieter spaces.
And that doesn't mean that we can't walk there. There's just not
Right.
going to be a
There
trail.
may be some areas that we just leave wild. so
Yeah.
We just don't walk there.
Right.
Because they're, you know, maybe it's brambly or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Coming down.
All right, coming down.
Oh, ow.
Yeah. Did you hit your head or not?
With my arm.
Cool.
Okay.
Excellent. All right, let's go down and we're going to go find the secret path.
The secret path. So this is somewhere else I've not been.
Did you see it on the map?
I'm not that terribly well versed on the map, though.
No. You're the one who told me I was making a map in FedEx, and on my little map that I drew, one of the trails is called the secret path.
Okay.
And you very famously told me, the secret path, huh? Well, I guess it ain't secret anymore if you put it on a map.
So I know about it, I just haven't been there then.
This is a very beautiful,
Oh, wow, yeah.
gorgeous cedar.
Cedars have such beautiful, smooth wood.
Yeah, yeah. They're like almost like arms almost.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a beautiful view of, you can see the whole grandfather from this side,
Oh, yeah.
how fire goes up. Let's go see if we can find the secret path.
It won't be a secret anymore. How did you find the secret path?
Well, I just saw a small trail. It's not as big as these, because people have ridden golf carts on these
Oh.
for many, many years, decades.
Mm-hmm.
But the secret path, fortunately, is just a walking trail.
Okay.
And so it's narrower. So we're going to go back kind of the way we came.
Robin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were flocking in here, you know, as they migrate. There was like thousands of them in here.
Oh, wow.
It was wild.
Now, I've not been in this area before. This
Well,
is kind of a wide
Yeah,
area
we
of
just
the
walked
path.
through here, but we're coming from a different angle, but
Okay.
it is wider.
Oh, we came up through there or something, didn't we?
We came that way. Yeah.
That way, okay. 'Cause I think last month when I came in off of Hillside, but at the far right,
Yeah.
down by the houses,
Okay.
and then
Yeah. This is the secret path.
okay.
See, it's a little bit narrower,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
and ideally we want to keep it narrower. To have some that aren't quite so wide.
Mm-hmm. Keep it a footpath, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when it's preserved, the whole thing will be a footpath.
Right. 'Cause we don't need golf carts coming down
Not golf
through here.
carts, you know, we'll have to see. I love this arch here.
I do too. I just noticed that.
So, this whole area to our right is the wilder area.
Okay.
No trails in there. So you can see even straight ahead, this is like a great example of, these are the beginning of the dunes.
Mm-hmm. This is incredible.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes. So that little, like, couple 100-yard path is the secret path.
That's the secret path.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
a great. I like the way the sun just comes down through the trees. It looks like a. If you didn't know you were in North Myrtle Beach right now, you would think you were in the middle of a dense forest.
Yes, absolutely. You
In the middle of the mountains.
and after you're here 5 or 10 minutes, you kind of forget that you're right in the middle of a city.
Yeah, right. Especially right on the ocean.
Where right along the ocean tends to be the busiest place. Like
Mhm.
a huge percentage of people live, 60% live really close to the ocean.
Right.
And so it's amazing that this very quiet forest is right. We're about 700 feet from the ocean right now.
Oh wow, we're that close.
That close.
And you wouldn't even know it.
You would never know it. You can once in a while, if the surf is up, you could hear the surf,
Mm-hmm.
but otherwise you wouldn't know it.
We're getting closer to a residential area now.
Right, exactly. Sounds like someone's working on their house.
Mm-hmm.
I know those.
Is that a little path that goes up there?
You know, it kind of just goes up and ends.
Oh.
And so this is what I call the Grande Allée
Okay.
from my French heritage.
Uh-huh.
Because it's long and straight and beautiful.
And what road is it that this comes out on?
I gotta take this one, I forgot, I didn't take it.
Oh.
This comes out on Strand.
Okay.
So it's basically the dunes are between Hillside and Strand,
Mm-hmm.
and then also between 9th and 10th.
I have no idea who I was calling or who called me, but apparently
I just called you.
you just called me. Okay.
Well, I didn't call you, my phone called you.
Oh. I was going to take a picture of the tree. I was like, oh, that's a cool tree.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
growing out.
Yep. That's very cool. And you know what? Like, what's best if you can.
Oh, that tree isn't here anymore.
So we don't want to. Well, it's here very much.
Right, but it's not alive.
Right. It's here. I mean, don't tell these guys. They love this.
No,
tree.
they love it very
And
much.
then also, the woodpeckers love this tree
The
too.
the reason that those guys are here is because that they are living off of what is left of the tree.
That's correct. And these are beautiful.
They really are.
Fungus. Wow. They're gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good you saw that. And so the idea is to leave the forest natural, so that you don't want it to be all manicured, because there are things like this, standing dead trees,
Mhm.
are very helpful to the woodpeckers
Oh yeah.
and the insects that live there. And
Matter of fact, I think I see a woodpecker hole up there. About a foot, 18 inches down from the top.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I wouldn't doubt it, because then the bugs like to live there, and then the woodpeckers like to eat the bugs. So we're coming out onto Strand. I hate almost to go out into civilization, so we won't stay long here, but
this just goes to show you what these dunes are actually in the middle of.
that's a good point.
It's surrounded by, it's somewhere where you would definitely not expect
Yes.
a place like this to be. It is completely surrounded by homes, neighborhoods, and civilization.
That's correct, yeah.
On all four sides.
Yeah, on all four sides, yeah. Yeah, so that is a good point, Kenny. And now we're going to go back up the Grand Allée again.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes it almost more dramatic that it's surrounded by civilization.
All these people who live around here have a place to go,
That's a
to
good
relax.
point. Yeah.
I'm sure the backyards and places around here aren't very large, and you
They're
can't
not.
do much with them. So this is a natural built backyard for the people to go and relax in.
Exactly, and you know, when you live near the beach, the houses are very close together, and there's not much land for a backyard. And of course, the thing is, when this is preserved, it won't be just for the people who live here. It'll also be for everyone in the city or people who come visit the city. And like
I noticed they haven't kicked me out yet. I live way down in Conway.
Yeah. And you know, there's a lot of visitors come here, and it'll be a beautiful place for them to get. Especially, it's so cool and shaded in here. It's about 10 degrees cooler here than out in the sun.
Because I know today it got up to 96 degrees at my house.
Really?
It did.
Oh my God.
Not but an hour or so ago. And it's comfortable here on these dunes, in the shade, in these woods.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's quite.
And you know it's over 90.
It is later, but it's probably not 90 now, but I didn't really.
It's probably upper 80s at least, though.
Yeah, yeah. But here it feels like more like 70s, so comfortable.
And that brings up another reason to preserve this place for the animals, because they need places to go where it's cool.
That's
And
true. I
the
didn't think of
wildlife needs to be comfortable just as much as we do.
that. Yeah. Well, I think it's always good to. We live in a world that's pretty human-centered. So it's really good to think of our animal neighbor friends, and I think of them all as part of God. You know.
We all have to live together,
Yeah.
and we need to find a way to do it in harmony instead of always driving them out.
Yeah. Are we walking slow enough so the camera can adjust?
Oh, I'm sure we are.
Okay. It's amazing how it can do that. We don't want anyone to, you know, get a nervous breakdown from watching this film.
I mean, I think I've shaken my head a couple of times just because that's me naturally.
Regular
but
walking is not so. This is a beautiful one that's unfortunately also marked, but you see how that whole tree
Oh, wow,
goes
yeah.
at a major angle.
way off to the
way
left.
off. And it's been seeking the light for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite trees, though. You can see how some of the branches they're more horizontal than they are vertical.
They are. They're seeking this area right over here,
yeah, right here.
because that area back in there is so densely grown over.
That's it. So they keep seeking the light. See, now we're going to go back by the sandy dune, and then we're going to the what I call the undulating area.
The
It goes up,
undulating
up and
area.
down. Undulating.
And that's where we were right up there
We
before.
were up top on the sandy part. And this is another one of those canyons or valleys in between the two big dunes.
Mm-hmm. Goes another cardinal.
Oh, I missed them. Good. Yeah, it's funny. Every time I walk in here, I see something new.
Mm-hmm. I also noticed, because the weather has finally heated up some, back the last time I walked through here, a lot of these trees weren't green yet.
That's right. You're right.
And it has really come out.
Yeah, just in that month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I hadn't thought of that. Wow.
And the pines were already open, but there were a lot of these other trees that were either just starting to bud
Yeah.
or had not started yet. And it's very green in here right
There's
now.
some amazing. There's really. Oh, look at this. Here's sassafras.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the mitten of
Mhm.
the sassafras. Now, there's so many amazing plants that in here. You know, like we mentioned the bays, but this is sort of the sassafras area here.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they like to live together.
I know I've seen, I think the largest sassafras tree in the world
Wow.
is in Owensboro, Kentucky, down where a lot of my ancestors and relatives are from.
Wow.
It's a big old tree too. It's probably,
I didn't think they grew that big.
oh, it's huge.
Wow.
It's probably, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember just from sight from like 20 years ago, but I'd say it's probably at least 5 feet in diameter,
Oh my God.
maybe
Well,
more.
I thought they were just small trees like dogwoods.
Not that one.
I love this.
It's gigantic. Yeah, this looks like familiar area.
Did you walk in here maybe?
I think I did. I might have gone down that way
Uh-huh.
or something. I'm not sure, but somewhere around in, not too far from here, I think is where I saw that vacuum cleaner.
Oh yeah, I never saw that. Maybe, I've been in here.
It was near the houses over on the south
Oh, okay.
side.
Unfortunately, sometimes people over the years have brought stuff in and just dumped stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been really working hard to keep it clean, and we'll pick up small stuff and big stuff. This is a very different area.
It really is. This reminds me of that open sandy area,
Yes.
except without the sand.
Yeah. Yeah, this is probably the most open area.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go see the spreading oak.
The spreading oak. Okay.
It's one of my absolute favorite ones.
Now, I haven't been back up here.
Let's go this way.
Is this it?
That's it.
Oh, wow.
There must be like 6 different oaks coming out of the same spot.
Yeah. They probably all have the same trunk or root
I'm
system.
thinking they do, and 'cause sometimes the live oaks do that. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes this one looks like it's connected under the ground.
Oh, yeah.
But there's other ones that are just individual acorns. This one looks like it came from the same.
Yeah, it looks like they're all growing out of the same spot.
Unless it could have actually been 4 different acorns here.
Yeah. They just happen to all sprout and go apart from each other.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, it could have been that. Yeah, it's a beauty. Amazing.
Mm-hmm. And we're at a little bit of height up here now too, because that's Strand again down there.
That's Strand, and we're at the high point of Strand. So from this place, I can actually see the ocean right now. But it's hard to see because there's this foliage.
Yeah, I think I see it.
Like right up here where I'm Yeah, you'd have to get up a little bit.
Oh yeah, I see it through the trees now. I'm gonna peek down this way. Yeah, I can see the waves out there now. Right past those palms. And that's only a couple of blocks away.
It's right now we're at fourth row.
Fourth row, okay.
There's a row on the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Next row between Perrin and Ocean Boulevard, and then there's two rows between Strand and Perrin.
Okay.
I'm actually third row where my house is down that way a little bit.
Okay.
Look at these great vines.
I love them.
Incredible.
Are they marking vines now too?
Well, they're
they had an extra band that they wanted to put on.
I don't know all the markings. Some are.
Oh, that's a cool little plant growing off there.
Yeah. Like a little lichen.
Yeah. The spreading oak.
I mean, if you come up with a better name,
No.
you can name it.
That's perfect.
I had to make a map, so I had to call it something.
Right.
This is actually a beautiful one. It's a little covered by, other bushes.
Mm-hmm.
Yopon.
I like the vines crawling up that one.
Yeah. Look at the size of that. Is that a vine?
That's a vine.
No.
I'm pretty sure it's a vine.
Looks like it.
Yeah, it is. Look, it goes all the way up.
My God. You know, see, I never really look at that. Boy, it looks like a major anaconda or something.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So it goes up.
That's a 30-foot vine.
Oh my God. I gotta take a picture of that. You really don't, it's hard to capture it. It's so big.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sad for me to see all these.
Mm-hmm. You would think that if they were going to mark something, the plastic bands would be enough.
That's what I was thinking. This is a nice look down there. It's another major entrance from Strand.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way it's arched over.
And it just kind of
yeah,
up and down
these
all
are-
the way there
these are
too.
nice undulating. And you have your hiking boots on, right?
Yes.
Now we're going to go up.
Okay. I like up. I'm guessing we're going to the right.
We're going up, right up. So you lead the way,
Okay.
so everybody can get the experience. Good little workout.
Oh yeah. This is back where we were earlier.
And now we're in the sandy area, so we just went up a major sand dune.
Yes, we did. We probably climbed 25 feet.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, right around there.
Mm-hmm.
which around here is a lot.
Around here, that's a whole lot.
So yeah, so we're just, you know, we're just asking everyone to help. You can donate, or you can just write to your city or state representatives, and that's how it's going to be saved, if we all keep working together.
And come down and visit the dunes too.
Absolutely.
Because you get a good feel for what it's like in video, but until you've actually been there, you don't know what it's all about. You can't possibly know how you actually feel, what it's actually like. The 25-foot climb we just did back there is fairly hefty job to get up, because it's in the sand.
You're in the sand, so you're going half back down every step.
Right. But this is such an amazingly beautiful area within North Myrtle Beach.
It really is extraordinary. And then, but like you say, you really don't know it till you come and simply walk the dunes. And that's when you know what's here. And everyone loves this place, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone, you know, like 97% of the people want to preserve it. And to do that, of course, we have to pay the owner, buy it from the owner, which is only fair.
Which is why we need help going to the website, making a donation.
Sure. And then
or just, even if you can't make a donation, there are other ways that you can help too.
Oh, multiple ways. You know, like we have these little lawn signs. People put lawn signs in their front yard, or we have pamphlets. You can give a pamphlet to your neighbor, or simply talk to other people. And whatever, my thing is that every little bit someone does helps.
Yes.
Even if you say a prayer for these beautiful dunes.
Even if you just acknowledge the fact that they're there.
Yeah.
That's helping.
Yeah.
Oh, Ingram Dunes, I've heard about that.
Yeah, exactly. And this year we have a lot more people have heard about it. Because, you know, we've been on TV and stuff. And I shouldn't say only a prayer. I think prayers are extremely, maybe the most important thing we do.
Right.
And just loving these dunes. And, you know, it's wonderful, encouraging. A lot of wonderful people have stepped up, and even Vanna White grew up 4 blocks from here. And she, when one of our supporters contacted her, she said, "Oh, I remember the dunes very fondly. Some of my fondest memories are in the dunes as a kid." And she and her brother used to play here with their friends, and she's been very generous in terms of saying, "You can use my name and you can quote me, and I'm going to call the mayor too." And so she's been really.
And that's pretty good that we have someone with that, who is that well known.
She's probably the most
helping
well-known
out
person in North Myrtle Beach.
Right.
And she's also a very genuine person. So that's a lovely person to have supporting. And, you know, I think she loves the dunes too. So we're all in this together. You know.
Right.
Yeah, so it's, wow, man, it's so good to walk with you. And just, we've always had good talks when I've come in.
Oh, yeah.
So it's nice to...
It's always fun and interesting, and we always learn new stuff.
Yeah, we do. We kind of, you know, share with each other in a way where we learn new stuff.
Now we're going to come back out on Hillside.
Right, which is the other side of civilization. But I hope everybody's had a good little walk in the woods, and a little bit of a glimpse of why we all love this place so much.
And why it needs to be preserved and remain for future generations to come.
That's it. Because we're really doing this for the kids and grandkids, ultimately. Because they're the ones, and then their kids will be coming here too. So here's the other side of the civilization.
This is Hillside Drive.
Yeah. Yeah, if you look down it, you know, it's woods on one side, but they're actually not woods. They're sand dunes covered with woods. And then some nice houses on the other side. And this is where we hold our rallies.
And how often do you hold rallies?
We've been doing it like every week. You know, there was stretches where we did it, and then I'd say for the last, you know, two and a half months, we've been having a rally here every Saturday.
Okay, what time are those rallies
11
on Saturdays?
11 to 1.
Okay.
And then we say 11 to 1, but then a lot of times it's actually a lot of fun because, you know, people will stop.
I might have to try to come to one of those sometime.
Sign, you know, it will sign our little petition,
Mm-hmm.
and then, you know, but sometimes people keep stopping, so we can't leave. And it's actually a very fun.
How many people do you usually have show up?
Well, you know, I'd say there's a lot of times there's only a few of us. Like there could be like from 3 to 8 of us.
Okay.
But then, you know, we've got a little signs and.
And where does everybody park? Just right along here?
Right along here.
Okay.
And then, so we just park here, and then like sometimes we've had multiple. It's May.
It got me dancing.
It's Mayfest today, so there's a little more traffic.
Down on Main Street,
Down on
yeah.
Main Street. But Hillside's a nice locals road.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, a lot of times, and then people will walk in, we'll bring them into the dunes, so it's beautiful.
It's great. I'll try to make it to one of those.
Okay.
I think I have the next 2 Saturdays. Well, obviously next Saturday I'm calling, but I'm not doing that until the evening. I might be able to make it up.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Try to do that, and I'm off the Saturday after that too.
And we, you know, we don't know because we have the gala next Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We've been pretty good even having a little presence here, but you know.
What time is the gala next Saturday?
The gala is like 6:30 to midnight.
Okay. I still won't be back by then.
No. No. All right. Well, listen, I got to go on to the next. I've had a series of things today, so we should probably. But thanks, man, for doing this. This is awesome.
I'm glad to do it.
It's wonderful.